Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. All these videos that get posted on this sub, I'll just have this link down below. But I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, anything you need. This will be linked down below. It's really important because this is just a first look video, guys. Remember that it's just a first look. Sometimes a lot of this stuff will stay relevant, but it's mainly just to get a gauge on the slate. First look, talk it over with you guys, and I make the updates on Reddit and what that changes and stuff like that. So it's like it's still good to watch this, and it's still good to talk about this stuff. But I think being over on Reddit does help out a lot with how the slates do change, right? So that'll be linked down below. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. But fastest way to reach me is definitely just comment down on Reddit. That's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. As long as it's not, something personal, right? All right, so let's get into my lineup from tonight. Was not a great night. NFL is going good. We'll see. I can't show you guys my NFL lineup for cash games, but I have a lot of PMR left. I'm in the cash. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, my core today was Bagley smash. Aldama, smash, blowout, lost minutes. DeMar DeRozan, smash was a core play, also blowout. Donovan Mitchell, core. I was just dead from the start. Donovan Mitchell, I believe he had 10 fantasy points at half, had a really, really good third quarter, and then obviously Atlanta just is one of the worst teams in the NBA, and yeah, blowout. So I was dead from the beginning. Definitely couldn't overcome Mitchell today. And then, yeah, Fred Van Fleet fouled out, so I didn't even get minutes from him. Lost like 7 minutes there. One of my favorite plays today, Jabari Smith, he smashed. John Conchar, blowout. Kobe White, blowout. Even though he wasn't having a great game to begin with, but still hurts. My whole lineup involved in the blowouts today. So a lot of stuff I did do well though. Like Sengun, you guys knew I was high on all the Rockets. Besides, I did not like Jalen Green. I thought he was going overowned today. He had a really bad game, so that was good. Sam Merrill, I didn't have him, so like that was another thing that added to my day being over early. Max Struess got hurt. Once he got hurt, I knew it was over. I knew Merrill was going to smash, but if you guys watched my video last night, you guys knew I was pretty high on Merrill with no Levert. I just think he was a bit overowned, but the Charlotte guys smashed like them. Like I said, all the Rockets smashed. The Wizards game just absolutely smashed. That was a game I was really high on. What else? I finally fade Randall. In not the best of spots, but I play him here up against Washington. Yeah, that was fun. What else though did well? I think everyone just did well today, besides Donovan Mitchell. Patrick Williams was a value I liked. You guys know I like Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson. Those two guys both smashed. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Let's go over this 5 game slate for tomorrow, the 21st of January, 2024. All right, really good spot here for Denver. I mean, if you think this game stays competitive, I think you're definitely going to want a piece of Denver, like one of Jokic or Murray. I think both look phenomenal. Now, you definitely have AD on it. You have AD on this slate in a really, really good spot as well. So, like, I think getting to one of Jokic or Anthony Davis is probably going to be pretty smart on this slate. Like, I'm probably going to make it a priority for me to at least get to one of them. Let's see if we can play both. Let's just plug both in. How much value? Yeah, probably not going to work on this slate just because we don't have a ton of value unless more value opens up. But yeah, I absolutely love Jokic here at the top. I mean, a good thing with him too is it's good to see he's shot the ball 20 plus times the past 2 games because like previous games he's not been shooting the ball a ton, right? So like if we're going to continue to expect him to be more aggressive on offense, I think maybe up against Washington. But if he is, he could. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes for like 75 tomorrow. I would not. It's just such a good spot. So I love Jokic here at the top. I think Jamal Murray is a pretty good play as well. If you can't afford Jokic, I think getting to Murray is a pretty good idea too. So like say you want to play deep, then maybe you get to Murray. I think that's completely fine as well. So 8.3K for him. These two guys, they're going to lead the way, do everything for this team. Jamal Murray's potentials, I believe, have been up as well. His potential assists, and going to play huge minutes. Good spot. Only risk here is just blowout. So love Jokic and Murray here. I think Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon are both solid as well. MPJ would be more of your ceiling play between the two. I think Aaron Gordon's been a bit more consistent than the two, but if you want pure ceiling, I think MPJ is the way to go. And now that they're close in price point, I mean, I do give the edge to MPJ, but I think both are solid. KCP, you guys know the drill by now. He's 3-and-D. He'll play big minutes. If he hits his shots, can reach value. I would say he's priced right now, though, at 5K. And then we don't have a ton of value on the slate. So, like Reggie Jackson, he's probably going to see around 20 minutes. He'll also play a little bit alongside Jamal Murray as well. So, yeah, I think Reggie, I have no issue if you want to play him. I think he's actually a solid value. And then you'll see some Peyton Watson in the rotation as well. Should see high teens minutes. He is another playable value if you do need the salary relief. What else? I don't think I get to anyone else. Let's move on to Washington. All right, so not a good spot here going up against Denver. I mean, this team is just so bad. Ton of blowout risk here. Ton of just really bad risk with minutes here as well. They were in a competitive game tonight, and they just killed the minutes for everyone. I had Kyle Kuzma over PRA, and he just didn't play. Just he sat the whole fourth quarter. I was just unbelievably tilted by it. He barely missed too, but in a competitive game, I do expect these main guys to play, Kyle Kuzma, high 30s minutes. I would expect Tyus to play low 30s minutes, Denny low 30s minutes, Jordan Poole around 30 minutes. Like, if this game stays competitive, you're probably going to see a big game from one of these guys. I just, in my one lineup, I'm going to have a hard time prioritizing any of them, but they're all in play for tournaments just because if this game does stay close, one of them's going to have a big game, right? It's probably going to be like Kyle Kuzma or Jordan Poole, right? So I have interest in the main guys. I'm not going to prioritize anyone, but I think they are all in play for tournaments. Now, we'll see about Daniel Gafford. I have a feeling even if Daniel Gafford comes back, that they still just go with Bagley here. I think that would make sense, but assuming Gafford is out, I think Bagley stands out to me once again. They just don't want to play anyone. They have nobody behind him. I believe Denny's getting some backup 5, but they have nobody really behind Bagley right now, so he's just playing all the minutes he can handle. If he can stay out of foul trouble, I'm expecting mid-30s minutes, and he is still way too cheap. Over fantasy point per minute guy, playing close to 40 minutes a game. He's going to project really well. Not the best spot, but yeah, he's still far too cheap, assuming Gafford's out and he continues to play big minutes, which I would expect him to. So, really like Bagley here. If Gafford's in, we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. And then, if you do think the game blows out, I will say Koulibaly is at least interesting. Minutes have ticked down of late, but he will play in a blowout and he'll be in the rotation anyway. And if the game does blow out, he could absolutely crush. So, on a slate with not a ton of value, if you are fading this game, I do think taking that angle could be a little bit interesting. So I thought I'd mention that. Kispert will be in the rotation. He has to do shots to reach value. Did tonight. Got extended tonight as well, but I think, better value. But he is playable. All right, moving on to Miami. So starting lineup last game, I believe they started Caleb Martin. Let me see if I can. You guys know I'm always looking at rotations and all that good stuff. Yeah, Jovic, Martin, Harrow, Bam, Butler. Kyle Lowry and J. Rich have been coming off the bench. Tyler Harrow's been starting at the point. Jovic has been basically a spot starter. So really bad spot here going up against Orlando. I think the main three are in play for tournaments. More just so tournament plays for me. Butler would be my favorite, but I also do like Harrow at the point, but it's close. I think give the slight edge to Butler, but more just tournament plays for me. Bam at 8-5 I think is fine too, playing huge minutes. So I have interest in all the main three guys, just like kind of the same thing with Washington. I don't think I'm going to prioritize any of them, but yeah, I think they're all intriguing for tournaments. And then we get into the values. So if we're going to continue to see, low to mid 20s minutes of Kyle Lowry off the bench, I actually do think he's a reasonable value. Kind of the same of Reggie. So like Lowry there, I think J. Rich is fine as well. Jovic hasn't been playing a ton of minutes, but playable large field tournaments at 4.2K. Kevin Love not playing enough right now for me to consider him. And then Caleb Martin, been starting but playing mid 20s minutes. I think he's solid for value at 4.8K. All right, moving on to Orlando. Could have Franz back. So Franz is back. I don't like much here. Tough spot. This game is probably one of my least favorite games to target. Although the price points on Orlando do seem a bit too cheap, but with all the guards healthy, they're kind of splitting the minutes right now. I would expect Suggs to play the most. Marco Fultz played 30 minutes the game prior and 22 minutes last game. He also got a bit of blowout run, so I don't know what they're doing here with Marco Fultz, but he does have a ceiling, and if you do get 30 minutes again, then he could smash, but more tournament only play for me. Goga, Wendell Jr., they're kind of splitting the center minutes right now. I have interest in both. I prefer Goga at 4.8K, who I think is solid. And then if Franz is back, I don't know if I'm not going to touch any of this value. Mo Wagner's been a DMP. If Franz is out and Okiki continues to start, yeah, solid value. Don't have a ton of value on the slate. And Cole Anthony, probably sees around 20 minutes. And I think that's it. Not really a fan of Paolo, but he's always in play. Every slate. I'm not going to play Caleb Houston either. All right, moving on to Boston. Not the best of spots here. We'll also keep an eye on Drew Holiday and Al Horford here. So if they're in, you guys know what I'm going to say here. Like Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, White, Drew, they're all in play for tournaments. They all eat into each other's usage. Price points seem right. Now, the guards would probably be my favorites. So if you're taking shots on any of them, I think like White and Drew would probably be my favorite of that bunch. But no standouts here. I think all are just in play for tournaments for me. Now, if we get a situation where Drew and Horford are both out, then I would assume Derek White would start at the point, and they just slide like a Sam Hauser into the starting lineup. They could also start like a Peyton Pritchard. I guess that's in play either. But the main bumps are going to be Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard, who I think both will be very solid values for this slate. I haven't looked at other value actually. I forget. I have looked, but I forget. But those two guys would stand out as pretty good values for this slate for the teams that we've gone on so far. What else? Then the main guys are going to get bumps. I think White would be my favorite at 6.4K. I think White would actually be a pretty solid play. And then the main guys, would be a little bit better. And then you'll probably see a bit more Cornet, but don't think we need to go there. All right, moving on to Houston. Not a good spot here, but I mean, Fred VanVleet I still think is too cheap at 7.4K. So I think Fred, solid play, playing huge minutes, stuff in the stat sheet. It's just a minutes thing with him, and he's over a fantasy point per minute guy. So if you can continue to give him, 40 minutes a game, he is too cheap at 7.4K. Sengun just had a massive, massive game tonight. I mean, this is what he's going to do, right? He's going to do everything for this team, and he's also going to play huge minutes. They're running a really tight rotation here, so I have no issue if you want to play Sengun. I think Fred probably a bit more optimal, probably be higher owned too. We'll see though. And then Jabari Smith, 6K. I think it's too cheap. As long as he's playing well with no Tari Eason, he's going to play all the minutes he can handle. So I'm interested in Jabari for tournaments. Jalen Green was chalked tonight. He kind of got his minutes trolled. That's what's going to happen with him, especially with Dylan Brooks back. But he does have a ceiling. And then Dylan Brooks, played 30 minutes in regulation. Kind of similar to KCP, but I think I even prefer KCP to Brooks. Right? I don't think I go to anyone else here though. All right, moving on to the Pacers. We have Tyrese Halliburton and Andrew Nembhard questionable. If they are both in, then and Halliburton's not on a limit, played 35 minutes last game, 9.8K. Yes, sign me up for him. He'd be too cheap. I think he'd be a solid spend up. Everyone else is tough to gauge, so they actually run a pretty tight rotation last game. So if we're expecting high 30s minutes from Buddy Hield, I actually do like him at 6.1K. And then Pascal Siakam, more of just a tournament play for me. We'll see how he gels with this team, but he'll probably be low owned because people are scared to play him. Miles Turner had a massive game last game, 34 minutes. If you continue to give him 34 minutes, intriguing for tournaments. I don't know if I get to anyone else though. They're not really playing anyone else. They ran a really really tight rotation last game with Siakam back. So main interest Halliburton, Siakam, Turner, and Hield there, and I guess Neesmith is fine at 4.7K as well. And yeah, if Halliburton and Nemhard are out, I would assume TD McConnell starts at the point. Then you guys know I would absolutely love TD McConnell. He would be one of the best plays in the slate. I would assume like a Ben Shepherd gets the backup point. You could take darts there, and then Siakam's going to get a bump. Would like Siakam quite a bit. And then I would like Buddy Hield a lot at 6.1K. And then, might see a bit more like Mathurin, those guys, Neesmith as well. All right, moving on to Phoenix. Good spot here going up against the Pacers. That Booker first half last game was absolutely incredible. I don't know if you guys saw it, but good spot here. I have interest in all the Suns. I would say they rank below, like Jokic, AD, possibly Halliburton. So, yeah, I have interest in the main guys. I think more just tournament plays for me. If I had to pick one at their price points, it's always just Booker for me, in my opinion, especially when they're this close in price points. Beal at 7K, I think I'd rather, either play Nurkic or just get up to like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Nurkic minutes has been up and down, but, good tournament play just because when he does get the run, he's probably is going to have a really, really big game. So, like Nurk for tournaments, Grayson Allen's fine, and then Eric Gordon. We'll see mid-20s minutes off the bench. I think he's a solid value. All right, last game of the night here, guys. We'll keep an eye on Simons and Scoot. So last time Simons was in, I believe I have it pulled up. Let me just pull it up. I believe the starting lineup was Brogdon, Simons, Jabari Walker, Duop Reith, and obviously it's going to be Ayton this time, and Jeremy Grant. So just replace Duop Reith with DeAndre Ayton. So if they're both in, and they continue to start Brogdon, then Simon's going to lead this team offensively. He's going to play huge minutes. I would like him quite a bit, assuming no limit. They keep it cautious with illnesses, so we'll see if he'll be back. Jeremy Grant's going to play all the minutes he can handle. It'll be a fine tournament play. I would like Brogdon once again at 6.4K. And then Jabari Walker at 5.8K. 30 minutes, 41 minutes, like him at 5.8K. Don't know if I get to anyone else, though. Ayton did play decent minutes in his first game back, actually. Bad spot up against AD, but more of a tournament-only play for me. And if we get a situation, again, where Simons and now Scoot being out, then I absolutely love Brogdon. I really, really like Jeremy Grant. I really, really like Jabari Walker. Thibault started last game. He would be a solid value. I don't even know. They might have to play Brogdon literally all the minutes he can handle. So, yeah, this team would look really, really good if both those guys are out. You're definitely going to want some Portland exposure if those guys are out. Walker, Brogdon, Jeremy Grant, all would look really, really good. Thibault would be a solid value. And they have, like, nobody behind Brogdon if both those guys are out. So, might even have to start considering, like, these bench guys. All right, moving on to Lakers. So we have Taurean Prince questionable. I do expect the main guys to go here. We'll see about... Oh, Reddish is probable. All right, so if everyone's in, you guys know I absolutely love Anthony Davis. I think, him, Jokic, two of the best spin-ups on the slate. Really, really like LeBron James at 9.4K as well. Prefer getting up to Anthony Davis, though. And then D'Lo. His role's been really good. Minutes have been really good. This game was a blowout. He was on pace to play 40 minutes again. He's stuffing the stat sheet. I still like him even at this price point. Austin Reeves would be your pivot in tournaments. Still of interest. I prefer D'Lo, though. Prince, another one of those, like, it's solid if you need salary relief. And then Rui, I think, is intriguing for tournaments. Should see, high teens minutes off the bench, solid point per minute. 3.9K, I think it's solid. And I don't know if I get to anyone else. And then if Prince is out, we'll see what they do with the starting lineup. They could do a number of things. If they start like a Rui, then I obviously, really, really like Rui. Would like him anyway, because he'll have to get a minutes bump anyway, and then Reddish at 3.6. We'll see. They could do a number of things with the lineup. I think that's going to wrap it up for the slate. Hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.